Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. $200 only away from the all-time high. That's how high we got today. This morning we were saying shorts are going to have a meltdown. Fireworks are meters away. In today's video, I'm gonna give you an update on how things are progressing with the breakout that we were able to spot in the middle of the weekend. Even though I was bearish, I remember on Saturday, I was saying this is rolling over. I say, wait a minute, we are at the very highs of the price, right below confirming a breakout. We are in that final battle to break from the megaphone pattern, the last 8 months range. It looks bearish on the 4 hour, but we should open our minds and think, what do we need for this rolling over price action bearish on the 4 hour to actually shift anytime from here and turn into something bullish? And that's where we started talking about this bullish flag. By Sunday morning, it was confirmed. And I still remember on Sunday morning, no one saying anything bullish on crypto Twitter. So let's continue looking into this pattern and what is the likelihood that we complete the final target. And more importantly, what could come next? Let's have a discussion and let's also enjoy the victory. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos. And this morning, we were just 19 likes away from 400 likes. Thank you so much, guys. Let's continue pushing the limits of how many likes we can really do. That's really helping the channel to continue growing. And look at how the monthly chart is looking. We were talking just a few days ago. Can we close October candle even slightly above the highest close that Bitcoin has ever done? And at the moment, we are higher than March and April of 2024. And there's only a few days left of October, which is really awesome. I think this is very promising. There's still a few days in the week for price action to do anything. There are some earnings and some important economical meetings coming up. Jobless claims, I believe, on Friday, if I'm not wrong. But we have to admit, guys, let's take this success because we are at the moment somewhere that not many people were expecting to play out this week in this way. Of course, there are many people with fundamentals thinking we were gonna get to these prices. But let me know in the comments if you find any single crypto channel that had an actual setup with the target defined on a low time frame pointing at this price where we are today this week. I will be gladly surprised if you find it, and if you find it, I want to watch it. I want to learn from them as well. So as you can see, we are just roughly 1,000 away to hit the final target of 74.6k as we discussed on the weekend. And at the moment, we are seeing a little bit of rejection at 73,599. And I'm not surprised at all. That is because in here, there's the all-time high. The all-time high is roughly $200 higher than the high that we just achieved. And why is Bitcoin stopping right there? Well, we just hit for the first time the red area. This is the area that I've been calling as the fireworks area. This is where there is tens of billions in liquidity pools from shorts. I wasn't joking when I say that shorts are having a meltdown. I'm sure that many people that are shorting this at the moment are throwing the towel and thinking, gosh, how come I didn't see that? And this should teach you, you do not put the stop loss where everybody else is putting it. And how you know where you're putting your stop loss or your liquidation in your account? Well, pretty much we've been on this downtrend, and with every single move down, new shorts were placing positions from the highs that you can see in here. And that created an area extremely attractive for market maker in here, and that's why we are at the moment hitting that high. I don't think that this move came from buys from spot. I think this move is coming from futures, market maker hitting that huge amount of liquidity there, and the institutions buying on the ETF heavily thanks to seasonality of Bitcoin. They are just thinking October is the time to accumulate, let's start buying. There should be highs coming in, particularly if elections and all the stars align in a bullish way for Bitcoin. Spot retail is just starting to catch up. We went from 17 that we were talking about in the past few days. Now we have increased 5 points to 23, 6 points, I think. And that is equivalent to this move from 11 to 16 that we have by the end of October. Pretty promising. This is showing at least that retail are starting to Google, hey, what's going on with Bitcoin? Am I missing something? We are far from increasing all the way to 83 in terms of interest over time on Google Trends about Bitcoin, sure, but we are taking those baby steps towards the target of getting more retail in here. This rally is definitely very different from the one of October 4 years ago. We didn't have the ETFs, and at that point the money printing was going just nuts with the liquidities, the global liquidity index, and at that point we already have the dollar, gold, all of those things dumping, allowing the perfect scenario for risk on assets. At the moment, we are just observing that the dollar is still respecting our resistance. That resistance is the $104.5. 2 weeks in a row, we are just there, but really nothing is confirming that that is going to be 100% sure the top for dollar. And neither gold. Gold completely ignored my forecast, the hive, the bearish divergences, the previous performance, the pattern from the candles, everything, and it just continues to rally. It's crazy. Dollar rallying with gold, with Bitcoin, with the S&P, everything is rallying. Something is off at the moment. A little bit more of counting victory, I can see that now we have completed the target of this. Breakout, retest, big green candle in here. There is just a tiny detail, which is how we close on Sunday, this weekly candle, together with how we close on Thursday, the monthly October candle, relative to these highs in here. Those two things, I will say, are the final things that we need to count victory on the breakout. And some people get confused about what we've been talking for months. On one hand, I talk about the technicals, I talk about the possible breakout, I talk about that we have the perfect recipe from the technicals to hit that all-time high. And I've been chasing with the small detail when zooming in into the 4 hour, how can we get us there? What is the timing of that and how high can we get thanks to the technicals? On the other side, I look at the fundamentals and I look at the liquidity that is still absolutely necessary for Bitcoin to rally and to produce legs as strong as this one. And in 2020, 2021, this leg was driven by those 4 aspects that I continue to repeat like a parrot. Global liquidity index, what the Fed was doing at this time, dollar, and gold. This breakout in here is clearly driven by the ETFs, the whales, which are people that are literally millionaires, and even potentially by a rally into the election. Speculators, futures, open interest, spot, no way. There's no interest from spot at the moment. Retail, dude, retail is not here. Wake up. So this controversial part of the breakout is the part that I am chasing for the healthiness and how sustainable is the breakout. And not just that, how far can we get really on a rally that is driven by institutions and millionaires? Because this rally in here, guys, up until 40 and even before that, they were already taking profits. The rest of the rally was driven by retail that had excessive amount of cash thanks to monetary policies being so loosened. And at the moment, we still don't have that. The people are not going crazy with excessive amounts of cash in their pockets, at least not the average dude. So on one hand, we have the chances of hitting this high with technicals, with with this liquidity that is in here, that is evident. But once we run out of this liquidity and we get into the ATKs and futures close their positions, because they will take profits. Futures are not deals that they are going to keep for months. At least the average futures positions is going to be closed pretty soon. So in order to be able to mimic an impulsive move like this, we're talking about 800% just there. And assuming that around here, that was driven just from retail, because whales are ready to profit. Long-term holders took profit roughly passing the all-time high from the previous cycle. So in here, everybody that enter are just red back holders of this area that close at a loss, or they got left holding for the whole bear market. That's what retail does. That's their role. And if they're not here, just my question is, how can we get into something as impulsive as this, just driven with the elements that we currently have? So option one, this rally will be very different, very slow and boring. And option two, the elements that are needed do a U-turn and suddenly we are drowning in excessive amount of cash, not knowing what to do, and starting to think, I might as well buy some Bitcoin. In which case, if that comes not too late, we could have a leg like that with that additional help, of course. Let's go back into the current state of the breakout. You can see that the longs in the delta is reaching an area very extremely overextended, excessive amount of longs. Shorts just got liquidated, and we are always in a cycle of longs get big liquidations, then there's a little bit of time, then the shorts, then the longs, shorts. There's always a flip of this situation. And at the moment, the shorts got liquidated, so eventually the longs need to come next, because we're getting into the top of that range as well. Is it going to happen right now? I don't know. But this is not the time to enter on a new long. This is the time where those longs are starting to think with their futures positions to close and take profits. So what we need to be doing is looking for a retest. We need to be looking for what levels we need to protect for continuation, for hitting 75 to get into 80K. And at the moment, the support on the 4-hour is pretty far from the price, from the actual RSI level. Support is at 64 at the moment. So the first support is at 71K. And we have already touched 71,880. That is coinciding with this level in here. And 71 is the support of that level in there. Zooming in a little bit more, you can see that there is liquid in there to be taken. So there is a chance that we go for that. That is a low-hanging fruit in my opinion. Of course, we do still have the CME gap at 67K. We left, unfortunately, that pending business in there. I do not know, and no one knows when are we gonna feel it or if we are gonna feel it. I think we can still make a very sharp move and take it out of the way, and that I will consider it healthy as long as that happens extremely fast within the same day and then back above it. Thanks to potentially some FUD, maybe something that happens this week, which we said over the weekend, it was going to be full of volatility. We already had that volatility up. There can be some volatility down. Take the CME gap and continue. Don't count on it, please. On the daily, currently we are being challenged by 73.1, which is the highest close from the daily back in March. And let's look at the open interest. Let me count this victory. We've been talking about open interest exploration for Bitcoin. And if this is not exploration, I don't know what it is. But we've been below 21 billion for 8 months. And today we made it to 24.5 billion. Right after holding in here on this trend line of support, which is mind-blowing. Spot is just having a small U-turn here, as we say in the morning, but against resistance. That was the case this morning. Right now we are coming back above 211, back to where we were in early September. This is healthy. This helps the move to be more sustainable, but we need to see spot make a big move in here. And I'm talking about the move that we have in January, for example, where spot was clearly moving to the upside. It went from this level into 100 after all this time just selling. Now that we are all this time selling, you can see why I'm not satisfied by this tiny micro move up that some people on Twitter were talking about, but I think it's not enough. We want to see spot catching up with a big move like that. Futures, I really don't care. They are already buying a lot. They will take profits. It could get us into a lot of volatility in the upcoming days. That is something that everybody's saying, and I don't think it's wrong. Actually, I embrace it. Volatility in the upcoming weeks is gonna spike big. No signs of distribution, which is a good thing that we need to check box. Long-term holders just sideways, very quiet at the moment. Liquidation levels up until 77k. We should have quite a lot there to continue having fun. And the only way that I can see now that we don't take this is some FAD. If there is some FAD and we come back here for a retest of the W pattern that we call out a few days ago for the breakout as well, that is healthy. Coming back here to 69k and retesting the previous all-time high. Come on guys, we can afford doing so. That is something that we can still survive it and come back up and then hit the remaining parts of the liquidity, as long as the S&P doesn't crash big or we get a black swan event. The remaining liquidity at the top end, I almost take it for granted. What happens after we run out of that liquidity? If we still don't get one of those 4 pillars fundamentals, we either continue with the inflows on the ETFs, just driving the price slowly and steadily to the upside, or hopefully by then, when we run out of that liquidity, we get one of these big factors to make a U-turn and suddenly we get that liquidity that we need to defend the continuation to the upside. Guys, if you're looking for an exchange to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, I love trading on Bybit when it comes to trading bots, and their big selection of altcoins is magnificent. I use it on futures. If you use the link in the description, you can get 30,000 in rewards subject to trading volume, the lowest fees as well to trade on Bybit. And if you connect it to my website, thetradingparrot.com, and you have enough volume as well, you can get access to all my arsenal of indicators. Over 100 indicators on PineScript and tools to trade with bots, including the pair selection that works with 3 commas, Alt-Ready, Weak Hunter, and Ganium, which is where I use it. But if you want an exchange so easy to use that you just need 5 minutes to open an account. In fact, I opened 2 accounts in 5 minutes because I don't need KYC to use bluffing, which is really cool. You just deposit and start trading with leverage immediately. And if you use the link in the description, you get 10,000 in bonuses and the lowest fees. All of that subject to trading volume. Any of the products I have in the description that you decide to open an account with, you get bonuses, discounts, and you are definitely helping the channel to continue putting out videos. I'll see you tomorrow, early morning, update on Bitcoin. Bye-bye.